I want to go for things that are unexpected. And so what I loved about this script was that it took me somewhere unexpected.
Well, ATM came about just from a very simple and realistic fear, I think.
What I'm always trying to find is material that's accessible and relatable.
This is a completely realistic scenario that can happen to anyone.
Then it just became obviously a much greater danger in the form of this guy, you know, this person that means to do more than just rob them. You know, he really means to do these 3 people harm.
We gotta get him inside. Come on.
My good friend Peter Safran said, have a read of the script. I thought it was a great read, really incredibly original thriller.
It was really what I was looking for. It had that great sort of classic tension, which I think is such a fundamentally great aspect of filmmaking. And within that framework, 3 great characters.
It was great to work with someone that, you know, again, I was very lucky with my last film as well, but in particular with David, someone that really liked the script and really trusted the script.
We just had a great collaboration. I would throw out a million really crappy ideas, and from that, Chris would come back with a brilliant one. So that was kind of our process, and it worked out great.
See only marker.
I knew from day one that we needed 3 really good actors. Yes, this is a film that has those genre kind of elements, but the characters, you know, they're really challenging roles.
You know, when I first read the script, it was actually like 2 scripts in one.
The first 30 pages reads like a romantic comedy. The characters are established and you care about them, and then it gets pretty horrible. I've never done anything that gets so horrible, you know.
In watching these people play these roles, I can't imagine really anybody else doing it.
I had obviously seen Brian's work, and I love The Hurt Locker and Easier with Practice. I just knew that he's an actor who can bring just so much to a role like this.
And it was just the character. I knew when I read it that I had a natural affinity towards it.
Josh and I met, and he was really drawn to the character of Corey.
I just feel really fortunate that he wanted me to be in the movie and allowed me to sort of bring some comedy at times, just my own ideas to the character.
Where I saw that character was exactly where he saw the character, and you know, the range he has is pretty extraordinary. And then Alice again, you know, same thing. I admired her work, and I thought that she was a really just talented actress. She had all of the levels and really the depth that this character deserved and needed.
She's really strong. You get there's meat there, you know. There's like stuff to do there as a woman.
The role's tough because as an actor in this space, you have to find new ways of doing things.
In the dynamic between the 3 of you, you get an energy and you build an energy.
And I think we're always reacting again, and react differently to everything that happens to us.
I couldn't imagine shooting this on a stage.
Yes, location on Winnipeg, and this is indoors. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but I think that's kind of a good thing.
Anytime you can get as close to reality as far as the work you're doing as possible is always the best idea.
And this adds like an element of the cold and the uncomfortableness. And some days it's hard to go to work because you're like, oh no, I'm gonna be freezing again.
There's just a sort of safety on a stage, and you get a little bit, you know, lackadaisical at times.
I think you can tell as an audience, can't you, when it's on a stage?
I can see outside now. It's a 360. It's like, I feel like we're in a desolate parking lot. Where soundstage, it's like, you know, cut, and then the light goes off and the sound, and then you go back to your trailer. Here, it's like, we're constantly here in this space.
The fundamental approach to this film was realism, you know, and I felt like there was so much inherent tension and so much inherently sort of terrifying about the conceit, and so my approach was just to make that as real as possible.
Seeing the ATM constructed actually I was amazed. I mean, I thought it just was an ATM that was here.
This is actually the vestibule which we shoot in, which is actually this beautiful space that is created completely by your set designers.
For something that, for the most part, is almost a single set movie, the actual design and the construction of the ATM vestibule is quite complex.
A big part of it also was that I didn't want to be isolating the spaces. I didn't want to have to be shooting reverses somewhere and then be inside with them. It's you know, a lot about the shifting perspectives, and so I wanted to be able to connect the outside from the inside constantly, and constantly feel the threat and the presence of the outside while we're inside with them, and vice versa.
You know, we all go into ATM vestibules every day to sort of do our own banking, but nobody looks around to see what's there. So it took quite a bit of research to figure out exactly why things are the way they are in ATM vestibules, why banks do things in a certain way, sort of the general character. for something that should be seemingly, well, something has to be seemingly normal. For the requirements of the script, it has to do all sorts of amazing things that ATM vestibules in the real world don't do.
The ATM is basically, although it's one location, is a huge prop. Every department had to be a part of its construction.
And I felt like for what we could achieve, really, you know, finding a great practical location like this and then building our set to do all the things we needed to do with the walls flying and the dolly tracks and everything built in and integrated, I felt like that was going to be the most effective and would ultimately just make it feel the most real.
We suffered for our art in this ATM, man. Freezing.
My experience with him has been just tremendous. David's 23. I mean, he's super confident. He knows what he wants. He's always willing to talk. It's like, always felt like a full collaborative process with him. And I trust him 100%. And he's just fun to be around. He's got a great style. I mean, I can't say enough great things about him.
It's a big thing for anyone, I think, to like be in or direct your first feature film, and he's doing an amazing job, I think.
We just have this really nice balance of working because he trusts me to a certain level to sort of find things on my own, and then when I need help, like, he's always there with his thought process, and he's been so prepared.
And so far, I think he's been doing a great job, but then I would say that.
Frame and action.
Working with Josh has just been so fun. This kid he's one of the most talented actors that I've ever worked with.
I'm fans of both Josh and Brian. They've both done great work.
Brian's a great actor, and I feel really lucky to work with him. And Alice is cool, you know, really nice girl and mad talented.
She was drawn to this project for reasons that I was. It's a great opportunity to act every day.
We've had some intense, you know, dramatic moments together.
You were basically with two other people in sort of this play. We had sort of David as our captain and as our sort of fearless leader, and we just went on.
ATM really is about the vulnerability. It's something very specific and unique to us, I feel, as human beings.
I hope that the specificity of that circumstance will be very unsettling for an audience.
It's a contained thriller that has a lot of unexpected twists and has a lot of great characters. You really care about these people, you really care about the situation they're in, and I think from there, you're really fascinated and really drawn to how it turns out.
You know, when you read a script and you don't know what's coming, that's a pretty compelling reason to think about making the film.